Hey, what is up, friend and fellow anti-netter? Scott Shepard here, the analog knowledge revolutionary himself. Hey, so I got a private message in my top secret community that people get access to once they subscribe to the Scott Shepard letter. And I'm going to read it through right now with you and answer the question. And I haven't read the whole thing yet, so I have no preconceived plan or preconceived idea of what the hell I'm even going to say. And I think it's more beneficial that way. That way I can speak authentically and share my true actual thoughts, and it makes it more fun and fun for you to hear as well. And I won't waste any more time. I'm going to hop right into it. So let me switch tabs right here. And by the way, I am in my car. I've just gotten in my car. And, part of living the dream writer's life is I ran a long ass run today. I don't know how else you say that. I ran a long ass run. But I ran through the hills of Orange County, and man, I freaking took all morning. And right now it's 11:48 a.m. I've not even gotten to the office yet. I won't lie. I also had a few glasses of tequila last eve, and just celebrating life and world domination with this top secret, most beautiful, coolest person in the world. But I'm not going to ramble and get into that and her family last night. So I've kind of had a slow start day, and I'm going to get to the office in a little bit. And first and foremost, I'm going to do my knowledge dev, which is basically reading for 30 minutes and then taking bib card notes and notes on my bib card. And then I'm going to dive into continuing to write and write the Scott Shepard letter, issue number 5. I'm like 18 pages into it in the digital format, Word doc format, meaning I'm like basically deciphering all of the first draft that I've written out by hand, and you know my whole process if you've read issue number 4. So anyway, I'm freaking rambling on as usual, but let's transition now into the message from a fellow anti-netter and Scott Shepard letter subscriber. This man's name is Jacob Tolos, and the Mexican side of me wants to pronounce it Jacob Toyos. And this man is as white as can be. I'm pretty sure he is white, but he was living in Mexico for a little bit and doing freelance writing. And the nickname that I have for him is Jacob the Lowly Mexican Boy. That's my I'm already getting canceled, even though I'm not big enough to get canceled, which is part of the benefits of being niche and having a small tribe of true fans. But anyway, Jacob the Mexican Boy wrote to me. He wrote, this is Monday at 8:48 a.m. He wrote, "Hey Scott, I have a question about finding your niche. You talk about the benefits of discovering and developing a sub niche like you did with the Antinet. From there, you've been able to open up into new directions, which are very exciting for me. For example, analog knowledge development opens up to analog knowledge and the neo-intellectual life. I've Googled and YouTubed handwriting, a novel, many times in the past, and there is painfully little out there about what I'd call analog creativity, a first cousin of analog knowledge. So I felt this was the perfect niche for me to pursue. My crazy brain," and this is him continuing to go on, "my crazy brain keeps pushing me in a different direction, though. My heart goes out to the thousands of freelance writers that are stuck in crap jobs while they dream of writing for themselves. I was in this boat for many, many years. I wonder if a better starting niche might be, to get even more specific, analog creativity for the ghostwriter that wants to break free of the chains of freelance writing and become a neo-creative. What do you think about such a sub niche? Do you think it has teeth?" So, all right, here's my response. Here's my thoughts. First and foremost, and I'm going to start driving now, by the way. So if I pause, it's because I'm trying to avoid hitting a small child that suddenly runs across the street of the suburbia area where I'm currently residing. So what's crazy about Jacob, the lowly Mexican boy's message is, like, he is seriously on the exact same precise path and journey and mission that I am on. And I want to facilitate Jacob. And, my journey, my whole path, which he outlined, is essentially I want to help independent writers make a killer living working for themselves through, analog knowledge and writing one thing a month and helping people, basically recreate the same exact path that I personally am on. So it's fascinating and amazing and also ironic. It's like, not only have I attracted people into my own tribe that, I want to help and create and help them become, quote unquote, new intellectuals and independent writers and creators. But it seems to me that I've also attracted, in Jacob's case, someone that also wants to be a proponent of this mission and help people get there, which is what I'm all about. And so with Jacob's experience, it is fascinating and amazing, and I think even better than my own experience in this realm, because I've done, freelance writing maybe like 15 years ago, but he has the freaking experience and the tried and true experience of being a freelance writer, and he knows and understands, because he's been in it most recently, the pains and frustrations of that business model of being a freelance writer for other blowhards and people that, are just trying to create shitty Kindle products. Like, okay, create AI for business people, write me a book on that. Like, that sucks, right? And so Jacob has had to deal with that type of lifestyle, which is really relevant, and it's going to be his biggest freaking asset. So his question on the niche, I really love the idea of his niche being analog knowledge for creatives, or how to be creative using analog tools. So I definitely do love that. I think the biggest thing, the problem, the thing that you want to create and the niche that you want to focus on is when you tell people like what you're doing, you want to take them on a journey of transformation. So if you have not transformed yourself, and gone through the whole hero's journey, meaning if you are going to teach people how to become independent writers, without freelancing for other people, you need to first be there. Meaning, like, now that I am making, multi six figures per year, and really, money writing one thing a month by hand, like, it gives me basically that asset, that story, so that I can teach others, how to build the bridge to get exactly to where I'm at. So one of the issues, I think, and I'm going to be sending this, by the way, to Jacob so he can hear this as well. And one of the issues with the second part of his question and the second niche is you need to make sure that you are already at the destination, the end of the yellow brick road, before you pursue the niche. Now, there's a caveat there, okay? And I'm going to jump into that in a second. But so commercially speaking, if you want to have commercial success, you need to help people increase their status, meaning help people get to a new level of health within the markets of health, wealth, or relationships. So within Jacob's case, really, to be clear, he is playing within the wealth market. And within the wealth market, there is the how do you get wealthy through the medium of writing, right? And that is a fantastic niche. Now, I think what Jacob pointed out is how do you, another thing is how do you So essentially what I'm saying is you want to basically, the niche that you create or choose, you want to already be there. So the mindset that you want to adopt is, okay, if I could teach the version of myself and the struggle, the suffering, the pain that I was suffering from, 2 years ago, right? If I had to create a product for that person to get that person to where I am today, what would that niche be? What would that product be? And I think we all have that. Hopefully, we all have grown, and we all have realized and discovered something that would have been beneficial to the version of ourselves that we were 2 years prior. Like for me, in that case, it was like, it would have been, something along the lines of, what I would have created or wanted to know 2 years ago it would have been, hey, realize that, Scott, it's like, it's nice to just sit and go deep, super deep on the, intellectual academic topics of, history of note-taking, but all of that, quite frankly, if you want to succeed in the commercial world, like, throw that stuff aside and focus on truly transforming lives and impacting actual real people. Meaning, like, that's what I would choose to teach myself, like, okay, let's say you let's say you are a intellectual person and you want to succeed commercially. Like, I would have needed a reminder, which I've basically had to kind of discover over the past 2 years, that you need to simplify and you need to focus on actual real people and helping them if you want to succeed commercially. You can't just write a freaking essay about, freaking Erasmus or Conrad Gessner in the 1500s and how he took notes on parchment paper and expect to make an income. You have to figure out how to turn and transform that lesson into something that pragmatically and practically helps people today, and helps people either increase their health, increase their wealth, or have better relationships. So, like, I'm just thinking out loud here. So what I'm saying to Jacob is, make sure that try to create something that is transformational and something that you would teach the version of yourself 2 years prior. Okay, so now, with that said, I mentioned that there's a caveat in here, and the caveat is this. I decided, and it was really freaking hard. I mean, I remember where I was. This was like May or June of 2021, and I kept going back and forth on the freaking niche that I wanted to focus on. And finally, I decided on the niche of the analog Zettelkasten, which then became the Antinet. Was I an Antinet or an analog Zettelkasten expert at that time? No, I wasn't. However, what I did see was, I saw this very clear path that I was on, a path of transformation that I was certain, and I saw glimpses of, that I was actively going through. And so, like, I wasn't completely there yet at the end of the journey or the yellow brick road, and I was honest about it. But I started publishing a bunch of content and bringing people on my journey. And doing that, I found my own voice, and I essentially co-created with my audience the hero's journey, the path to transformation. So what I'm saying there is that I don't want you to get the idea that you need to be a freaking expert in whatever area is fascinating and you're passionate about before you start on it. So what I am saying, Jacob, is that I think that your experiences, your freaking story of living in Mexico, slaving away as a freelance writer for, some shitty ass Kindle books and that type of lifestyle, you need to start writing this freaking story, this part of the hero's journey, and sharing that experience. And also, bringing on fellow freelance writers and saying, hey, here's what I've discovered, here's what I'm learning. My mission is the exact same thing that I outlined is I want people to be able to have a independent writer's lifestyle for themselves without having to slave away as a freelance writer. So basically, Jacob, I am saying yes, go and do and pursue that. But you must have in mind that you need to be on a quest and you need to recreate that transformation, the endpoint transformation for yourself. And brother, that's why I'm here, and I'm going to help you do that. And I'm going to help you recreate the exact same lifestyle that I have. And yeah, I love it. By the way, for all my other anti-netters listening, especially Stephanie Ann Roy wrote a awesome message to me today as well, saying like, hey, Scott, I've just really noticed like a transformation in you the past, 8 to 12 months. And she also mentioned something else. She's like, I've really enjoyed learning from you and also learning with you. And that's an important thing. Like this anti-net movement and what we're creating together in the tribe of Scott Scheper, and if you are a subscriber to the Scott Scheper letter, you know what I mean, because we have that private website and you can see everyone growing together. And that's the point of this thing, is like, yeah, sure, I'm going to be laying forth and laying out my principles, but I think you will gain just as much value in observing and watching what I do and watching how I'm slowly, deliberately growing this freaking movement, and also testing too, and you'll get a sense for this if you listen to this podcast, especially because I've been sharing with you the behind the scenes and the tests and things that work and don't work. So anyway, we're on a mission together, a mission of independent, intellectual world domination. Meaning if you're an independent writer, researcher, creator, whatever, let's create a army of us where we get to stroll in, like I'm about to do, and read, take some notes, do some writing, and then do whatever we want and have a 4 to 6 hour work day of knowledge work, and that's it, and make a multi 6-figure income. That's the mission, and my goal is to help you get there. Anyway, hope this helped, and always remember to stay crispy, my friend. Peace and love.